Hello once again, everyone, and welcome back to Getting More Out of Ferdinand. And we must start today by me explaining that I mucked up. So, last time I misattributed assault number 6 to assault number 5. I'm dyslexic, give me a break. But either way, we're going to quickly go over assault number 5 just to showcase it, and then we'll be moving on to assault number 7 as I promised. So, for assault number 5, it's relatively simple. It just says, feint at the inside and then throw to the outside of the arm. Now, you can do this in a couple fun ways, which is why I'm going to go into a tiny bit more detail. So the easiest way would be, of course, we're on guard on the outside. I feint, go, no problem, right? Nothing complicated here. But what you'll often find, though, is everyone kind of sees that coming. So another opportunity you can go for is if you see somebody standing in the medium guard or things along those lines, or if he's in the outside guard and you're in the medium guard, what I'm going to do is rather than feinting with a blow, I can feint with a slight turn of my blade, which can expose that, and then I can follow that target. Or another fun thing is I can use a little bit of movement to make him believe that I'm about to gain line on him. So what I mean by this is, rather than me doing any blade action, which some people can become very, very comfortable to, and so they don't react the way you want them to, or they react with counter actions, which is really dangerous. If I, however, traverse to my right, so a back traverse, eventually Eric will want to turn to an inside guard because I am on that line. If he stays an outside guard, he's practically standing entirely bare to me. It makes no sense because there's no way I could throw the outside from this perspective. So, the second he turns to the inside guard, he exposes himself to a nice outside two cut. Just a little bit of fun, different way of doing it, but really it does just boil down to feint to the inside, cut to the outside. Moving on. So, now on to assault number 7. No lie, this one is weird, right? There are two possible interpretations of it. We will go over both. I'm going to go on guard from the outside, but with my tip lower than my hand. Now this is most likely some form of outside half circle, which we do also see later in regards to not only just using it with parries with small swords, Badroon, but also you will see this engaging several other sort of positions. Now is it meant to be flat? I don't think so, as that's very uncomfortable to hold, so I go ahead and start rolling my basket upward. Now, the idea with this is if it's too far out to the side, so if I'm standing here, it'll throw out the inside of my body. So I want to bring it a little bit more in line with me so that I'm exposing a bit more of the outside of my arm. Now why would he attack the outside of my arm? Because if he tries to go for the inside line, I have St. George as the passive option, or if he tries to go the inside line, I have a wonderful thrust into carts as a better counter option. So this is not a good thing for him either way, because he's throwing to where I am strongest. So instead, he's going to throw a blow to the outside of my arm. Now the idea here is, one, to get around my basket, he's having to throw a lot deeper than we normally do. He's having to go for elbow / top of the forearm. This is good for me. As this blow is coming in, English is hard today, right? I am going to withdraw my basket back to me and form a cut upon his arm. Basically, as he goes for a wide target, I'm going to keep the center line and give him a little slice. Now, like I said, two possible interpretations of it. One will work better if you're fighting people who really play the game. The other will work better if you're fighting people who are a little more common / going for wilder target. And no lie, we don't know which one is correct. I don't know which one is correct, but these are good interpretations. So, if the first one is as he throws to the outside of my arm, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull my basket back. So as he exposes his arm, I slice it. I move my basket to where he was going, thus keeping myself safe. Nothing really too complicated here. He throws, I throw, I'm nice and safe. Forms a decent cut, not amazing, but it is a good way of matching the description. Second option, this one, it doesn't match the description quite as well, but does form a nice cut, is rather than just pulling my arm back as he goes to the outside, I'm going to turn my basket over, turning it outward, to form a cut onto his arm. So basically dropping down into outside guard as we know it. Now, while this does form a stronger cut, as you may notice, it more likely comes into contact with his basket, oftentimes preventing me from cutting his arm. Now, if I do it hard, I'll still nick him. But I don't like it as much for this reason because I'm more likely to hit basket then arm as opposed to just getting arm with the former. So, one more time of each of those and we'll switch perspective. So first mine, I draw back, cut his arm. Second, the turnover, I turn over, cut his arm. Now I'll switch sides. Draw back, cut his arm. Turn over, cut his arm. Both are perfectly fine, but I like the former a little better because it guarantees, one, I do personally feel safer when I do it because he's going from arm and I get that nice raised basket. I also have other offensive opportunities out of it, and it does more likely cut his arm, though it requires him to really be going for this. If he's someone who's not quite as precise in their cutting, that one won't work as well, but you have other wonderful options to move through. Alternatively, if you add a little bit of traversal with this action, even if you're not necessarily cutting his arm, you do get a really nice parry, right? As he cuts in, that's a very, very nice parry, if a little bit predictable. So I would say there's still some benefit in learning that mechanic. But as for putting this into drill, for the former, where we went over lesson 5 again, you can throw it right in with everything else, right? Just, we're moving around, I can be in medium or I can be in the outside. At any point, feint, go, no problem. You all know how to do this. For throwing lesson 7 in, that can be a little trickier, as it does require you to give invitation. So my recommendation would be for it, we're moving around, I give that invitation, and I achieve one of the 2 cuts as I get. Either way, thank you very much, Eric, and thank you very much for watching. Next time I'll make sure to get everything in order, but I appreciate the support the series has been getting. So, keep up the practice, and thank you very much for watching. We'll go over some other techniques another time.